Angels. Who are they? How do they help us? Are you one of them? Are we all angels? How do they interact with our galactic intelligence or indeed with human intelligence? Stay tuned. We're going to find some angel blessings and wisdom for this festive season and the end of the year with Rachel Corpus coming up now.
You got to accentuate the positive. Wow, I feel good. A little bit of feel good goes a long way.
You're listening to Karen Swain, teacher of deliberate creation, accentuating the positive, showing you a way to a better life.
Accentuating the positive, it's not just fad, it's sanity. Who in their right mind would accentuate anything else?
Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Angelic blessings to you all for this festive season. So great to be with you again for another show, Accentuating the Positive, Awakening and Expanding Consciousness with Karen Swain. We are on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 107.7 and 105.3 FM syndicated radio all across the US and Canada, and streaming today on 8 platforms: Facebook, Rumble, Odyssey, and YouTube. And we have the beautiful Rachel Corpus with us today from the angelic realm. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Nice to be here with you and your beautiful.
Oh dear. Sorry, we just the audio just keeps dropping out for some reason. Having a few issues today. Let's ask the angels to fix the issues. There's Vladdy
Right.
from Germany. Hi, Vlad. Great to see you here. Let me tell you a little bit about Rachel. She's a bit special. Rachel Corpus is an angel in human form who came to this physical world to learn and teach how to live a fulfilled life in deep connection with Source. She was born with the ability to experience things that others could not easily see or feel, like watching an angel sing above her crib or playing with ghost children from the nearby cemetery. That's so cute. Early life, Rachel experienced her first of many near-death experiences. She remembers going to the other side and being shown what her life would be like if she decided to return as a healer and a teacher. And after coming back, she experienced her gifts or abilities getting stronger and stronger. Daily meditation, study, and absolute faith in Source helped Rachel grow into the spiritual person she is today. As a professional channel, Rachel plays fluidly in the quantum realm and in the multiverse of parallel realities. She works in collaboration with angels, ascended masters, people on the other side, like your dead friends and relatives that you've known here on Earth, and higher vibrational extraterrestrials or galactic intelligence. So, yeah, fascinating. When you're a kid, I did catch you on another interview, actually, I think when I first booked you in for the show. And I remember you saying that you've had a very human life with all sorts of trauma and things that we go through as humans. So it hasn't been this perfect, blessed, angelic life. It's been like a really human life. But when you're a kid, it was evident that you had all these psychic abilities online. What was happening?
Well, I mean, my life's been perfect in the way it's supposed to have been, but yeah, it's the difficult as everyone's life has been. But as a child, sure, I had a lot of psychic occurrences, and I could see people who had passed, and I could hear what animals were thinking, and I could see but the difference was I thought everybody could at that time, because kids are, and then when I was involved in a car accident with my family when I was 4, and I had an out-of-body experience, or a near-death experience, and my precious, who I talk to all the time. Well, I met them again, and they pretty much said, well, this is your real home, and you have a choice for your mission here, or you can go back into your human Rachel body. They told me my angel name. They showed me all around in seraphim in the skies lately.
Dear.
I didn't actually make a choice to come back. Can you still hear me?
I want to ask the people listening, because I'm having terrible audio issues, like you're coming in and out and you're out of sync. The people listening, there's only a few of you online. Let me know in the chat if you're having the same issues as me. And yeah. So it's interesting that you're in a car accident. I'm painting angels every day since my son's NDE. Oh, that's nice. But can you hear Tamara? And she's coming in and out. Yeah, Stephanie says. Yeah, the audio is cutting in and out in a few seconds. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm having audio issues as well. Okay, so looks like we're having some audio issues. Hi, everybody that's online. Bloody Christopher, Tamara, Moby, D&D. Oh, Diane, Leslie. Very interruptive.
Oh,
anyway.
Darn.
Okay, you're okay now. So when you had the NDE and they gave you that decision, like, do you want to stay or do you want to go back? Why did they give you that decision? Why did you need that decision at that point?
We always have choice, and
yeah,
and we're never being has free will. And I really didn't make the choice. I'm honestly, my 4-year-old consciousness was with me, and I remember thinking my mom would be so sad if I didn't come back. And as soon as I had that, I was back in my body.
Yeah. Rachel, I'm going to ask you to maybe, I wonder if I can, I wonder if it's probably coming from my side, but maybe you can go out and come back in and it might fix these audio issues, because I'm still getting a lot of people saying that, yeah, they're only catching just some of what you're saying. They're not catching all of it. It might be on my side, but if I go back in and out, it might break the live stream, unfortunately.
Okay, loves, I'm going to try it. I'll be back.
She'll be back. She's coming back. She's not going anywhere. But yeah, I wanted to say hi to the beautiful people online. What are you doing? I asked Rachel what she was doing tonight, and she's going to go and look at the Christmas lights. And I thought, what a nice thing to do. My night is, because it's morning here in Australia, my night is, a few hours off. I might do that as well. There are places in Sydney where people go crazy with the Christmas lights. Not too many around my suburb. We have to go into different suburbs for that. But what are you doing? What are you doing tonight after this? Maybe it's too late for some of you. It's afternoon for many of you. In the States, I know, Vladdy, it's like the middle of the night. It's probably about 11 p.m. in Germany. But yeah, are there many Christmas lights up where you live? And let me know too if it's my audio cutting in and out or if it was just Rachel's. For people listening online, can you hear me clearly? Please let me know. So yeah, the angels. Before we came on, Rachel and I were having a chat, and we were talking about the angels giving a message. Who has been watching? I'm finishing some little projects and enjoying the show, Bloody says. Who's been watching what's been happening in the news with all the drones? We thought that we would ask my mob and Rachel's mob, the angels, about the drones and what's been happening with them going on. So Christopher said, is it just Rachel's audio? So I'm clear to you? You can hear me clearly? Hopefully you can hear me clearly. Just Rachel's. Oh, thanks, Leslie. Just Rachel's. Well, hopefully she'll be back on in a minute. And Stephanie, oh my God, haha. Love how you all said that, the same thing. Yeah, the angels. How do you interact with your angelic presence? I think that personally, we all have an angelic presence because angels are light intelligence. They are beings of light. We talk about human beings, we talk about extraterrestrial beings, we talk about like the fae, we can talk about the fairy realm or the gnomes or the mysterious creatures like Sasquatch and all these different forms of beings, source energy in a different form. But angelic form is classically known as light, intelligent light, and they're light beings. And they appear to us, they have incredible, oh my God, they have incredible abilities to appear to us as physical in a human form, and yet they're still like, they're not actually in a physical human body, but they can appear to us as physical. They are incredible. She's back. Here we go. Talk to me, honey one. Talk to me. Still can't hear you. Yeah, there's a drag. Actually, we can hear you, but it's delayed. It's delayed for probably for about 2 seconds, 2-3 seconds. Anyway, we'll keep going. We'll keep going and see if it fixes itself. Thank you, angels, for fixing the audio. Let's talk to them. So you weren't given a choice, but you were given a choice. You were saying, if you stay, you'll be with us here in this realm of light and love and bliss. And if you go back into your human form, then you've got work to do. So the 4-year-old was given the choice, but you don't remember making the choice as the 4-year-old. You just found yourself back in your body, right?
Right. I remember I was just back in my body. Anybody?
Yeah. That didn't go too well. Hi from Vancouver in the US.
Okay.
Looking forward to Disclosure Family finally being made soon. Our society in the US needs to get a grip on reality. Thank you all for your humanity. Thanks, Steve, for that message. Yeah, we're having a few tech problems, but we're going to soldier on. I don't know what's happening. The people tell me that they can hear me clearly. It's just your audio is cutting in and out. Do you want to ask your angelic team to help sort this out for us, please? Thank you. I usually ask the mob, and they, funny enough, they never do it immediately, but it does happen. There is a buffer of time between me asking and when it fixes itself. Sometimes it's a few minutes, sometimes it's 10 minutes.
I'm going to come in on.
Moby says, oh man.
I'm going to come in on my phone.
On your phone? Moby says, oh
Yeah.
man, can't hear Rachel, but love seeing her lovely smile. Moby says.
Okay.
All right, let's try your phone. We'll see if that works better. Ah, she's gone again. Thanks for that, Moby. So, Steve, let me talk to you in Vancouver. Is it Vancouver, Washington? Is there a Vancouver in Washington? I didn't know about that. That's interesting. Do you talk to your angels as well? What do you reckon is going to happen next year with Disclosure? It's really heating up at the end of this year with all the drone. I know the algorithms. When you look at one thing on YouTube shows you, or even Instagram or any of the platforms, they show you the same thing over and over and over again. But I've noticed that the drones seem to be everywhere. They're on the mainstream networks, they're on the alternative networks, they're on the middle networks, and there's a lot of different opinions about what they are. I've asked my mob what they are, and also Rachel and I were going to get the angelic perspective of what is happening, but it's a bit of a consensus about what they are. Here she is. She's back. Let me see if we can hear you. Can we hear?
Okay, I'm curious. Is this any better?
It is. It is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're
Well,
synced.
okay.
You're synced.
Hallelujah. Here we go.
Here we go. So I've just been talking about the Bloody says yes, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes,
I'm so
yes.
glad.
So
Thanks
much
for your
better.
patience, everyone. Thank
So
you.
much.
Oh, good.
It's
Here
so
we
funny
go.
because I asked people to come on half an hour before we go live to fix any tech problems that we had, and we were perfect before we went live, weren't we?
I know, but I didn't have any of my angel family with me, and they all came in about 3 minutes before we started. And then my
And
room
then
got real full. So,
it went haywire.
yeah, I mean, I don't want to blame them, but Archangel Gabriel's a little gabby and he's busy, and Archangel Raphael and Archangel Azrael, I mean, they really know how to fill a space and they can really mess with technology. So, not pointing any fingers, but I don't
But
think it
pointing
was on
fingers.
your end. Yeah, it wasn't you. It was all on my end.
It was the angelic mob. Oh well, we're back. Okay, Diane says, "Yay, yeah." Here we go. And hearts from Vladdy. Okay, so back to your angelic mission. So you came back into your form as a 4-year-old,
Yeah.
and having felt like you didn't make the choice, but the choice had been made for you. And then,
No, I don't think so. Let me clarify that.
okay,
When I was in the car accident, I popped out of my little body because I was having um, head trauma, and I remember hearing this grown-up voice, a woman's grown-up voice, and I soon realized it was my voice, like I sound now.
mhm,
And my two guardian angels, who I was somewhat aware of, but I didn't know they were assigned just to me, they walked me through it. And they said, "This is who you are. Your name is Genevieve. This is your angel name, and you are a seraphim. We're going to take you there." They walked me around. They gave me like a tour, like they were from the admissions, like when you go to a college visit, and they were kind of walking me around. And as they walked me around, it was like I had deja vu in the beginning, but then I started to remember. And I was able to see everything from, this is where you put your street shoes when you come in, and this is where you put on your comfy shoes when you're walking around the office, and I saw everything. And then they said, either way you'll be blessed. This is what you get to do in your angel life. And I have certain, we could call them mission tasks, things that are designed just for me as an angel incarnate. You can do them here or you can go back into your body, but it's your choice. Now, as they were telling me this, my 4-year-old self kept popping in because I remember having things come to mind like, will I still be able to play? Can I still puddle jump? Can I still play house? Things like that.
mm.
But what I'm saying is I don't remember ever saying, okay, I'll go back. It was the moment that I remember my mom being sad if I wasn't there. And when I had that feeling, that's the moment I remember being back in my body. And so I made a choice without really signing a contract or making the choice saying, okay, let's go back. And I remember all this clearly because even though I was in a 4-year-old body, I was traveling as the consciousness as a greatly evolved angel. So I still retain all those memories. The same way I retain all my memories of all my other lifetimes and all the other existences I've had, whether they're Earth or other planets. Um, so it's quite a different existence that I have.
So you have retention for, like, you have memory of all your other lifetimes in your
Yes,
physical form.
yes, I
So,
do.
so how many physical Earth lifetimes have you had?
This is just my 7th.
Right. Okay. And are those lives being past and future, or just past in our linear timeline?
It's hard for me to think in a linear fashion.
Mm-hmm.
there is one that resonates future
Mm-hmm.
because I'm constantly in it, and it's not one that feels like I've experienced it before.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones I have memories that feel more like I know how I organized that closet. I know what my purpose was. I know who you were to me then. Um, they feel very, I'm going to use the word past. And I know
Yeah.
the locations. I know all of that, how it sorts out. But there's one in particular where I get to see what the world is going to look like, and
Yeah.
all of that, how that sorts out. And that seems to be woven into my purpose now, because it helps me, because I'm angel incarnate, so I'm also in a human form, so I have ego as well, which means I can get worried. I get scared sometimes. I'm not always vibing high. So when I intentionally go into my human form, sorry, I spoke that wrong. When I intentionally go into my angel form, it's good because I can say to myself and to my angel peeps, what's the meaning of all this going on? How is this going to play out? And it's really wonderful because everything happening right now, everything that always happens has a purpose. Nothing is ever errant, nothing is ever a detour. And even though it looks like the you know what is hitting the fan, mm-mm. It's it's what we knew to be negative, or we used to label as negative, but it's actually low frequency. All of that is dispersing or pixelating, and it's transmuting into something that's lighter and something that we can work with more and grow with, I guess is the best way I can say it. Now I can't hear you, darn it.
Oh, that was
You
because I
are?
muted myself. That was my fault. No, I was just saying
You
the shift.
scared me.
I
You
know.
scared me.
The shift is hitting the fan. That's what we say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vladdy's got a question here. What do you mean by just my seventh? A lot of souls don't want to come back after one lifetime, he says. Yeah, I don't know about that, Vladdy, but I've got something to say about that. But what do you want to say about that, Rachel?
Well, Vladdy, you might be surprised that when I talk to people on the other side, once they are on the other side, um, when they are not with their ego anymore, and they are able to see exactly why they were here on classroom earth, they actually do want to come back. So it's can be a human myth that people don't want to come back, because the goodness here, the goodness of learning, having the spectrum available, where we get to, sure, have the peace and the joy, but see, the peace and the joy and the good stuff, that's available on lots of planets, lots of dimensions. Great. But on Earth, this is perhaps the only dimension where you can choose to have the hard stuff, the difficult stuff. So while you're here, it's difficult. But when you transcend, when you expand out of your physical body, and you give yourself a chance to unpack that with your guides, with your ancestors, whoever you choose to unpack that with, usually 99.9% of the time, a soul will say, okay, I get it. I get it. I want more. I want
Yeah.
more. And they'll often say, so who do I get to help come up to this level with me? And so you're going back and forth between having a life where you are learning and having a life where you're helping others learn. And it's this rhythmic, it's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. So with me, my 7 lifetimes have been mission based. Yes, I'm here to learn for myself, but really I'm here to help this earth expand or transcend. I'm getting a lot out of it as well. But yes, just 7 times, because I go to other planets as well. I mean, I was created at the same time you were, Vladdy, and everyone else at the beginning of time. We're older than we could ever imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Susan's got a question here, and it's actually, you've read my thought. You've read my mind, Susan. I was going to ask you, so you said that you've identified, or you've remembered your 7 human lives. What about your galactic lives? And oh, no, that was a question. Sorry, I'm a bit off the planet today. Susan says, help me understand why the energy of Earth Gaia is being raised. Does this have to do with moving through space? That's a higher vibration, or what? Yeah, that's a great question, Susan.
It is a great question. Earth is raising because, first of all, Earth, the sun, and the moon, they all have their own souls. So Mama Earth has a consciousness. The sun has a soul. The earth has a soul. And all the consciousness, all the conscious beings on Earth, the grass, the trees, all the animals, all the slugs, all the ladybugs, all the people, we're finally at a time where all those conscious beings are pretty much on the same page. We are vibing, I almost said hearing, but I'm going to say experiencing or vibing the same thing together. And that thing is, we desire something better. And even though that something better might be described as something different for each being, the theme is the same. We desire something better. And so that intention or prayer or manifesting, however it bleeds out of us, vibes out of us, has been heard. It's going out like sound waves, and it's coming back, and it's going out, and it's coming back. So it's starting to move toward enlightenment or expansion. Now, this has happened several times on Earth, but it's been stopped, or it hasn't been able to happen. This time it cannot be stopped. It's going to happen no matter what. So this is the great age of enlightenment, or the age of Aquarius is back. It's simply happening. And some people are calling it New Earth. That's okay, but you have to understand that the New Earth timeline has been open for a long time, and there are several timelines. Think about the New Earth as a timeline that's open for everyone, and everyone listening, you're on it already. You'll experience it when you have these moments of peace. And the more peaceful you feel in your skin, in your heart, the kinder you can be to yourself and to other people, you'll find yourself on that timeline. And eventually, as you expand, and the more times that you choose to incarnate here or even other planets where you can be loving to yourself and other creatures, you'll be more on that timeline, that 5th dimension, 6th, 7th, and above dimensions. And at some point, Earth will be completely different. We won't have 3D anymore because we won't need it. We won't need 3D where we have to sleep so much, eat so much, poop so much. We just won't need that stuff. It won't be needed.
Yeah. It won't be needed for the lessons that we're asking for to gain from the Earth experience. So there's a couple of questions I've got here. I want to go back to that question about you being in galactic form as well. But you said something about moving to a better existence. And we've just talked about how the soul sees the challenges that we design for ourselves here on Earth as really good. Like we say, that's good. I want that from a soul's perspective. From a human perspective, we say, no, I don't want this. Please get me out of here. I want to go home. But how can it be a better world when the challenges that we have are a good thing? Like, how do you see that? Yeah.
Because we learn from the challenges. We learn. And the best, I'm going to call in one of my angelic mentors here to help me. Okay. A strong way to work with this is allowing yourself to feel everything, and to not have what the angels like to call irresponsible spirituality, where You feel something, but then you try to flip it and say, no, I'm fine. No, I'm fine. No, you don't have to do that. When you have experiences that are difficult, it's okay to feel that difficulty, feel the feelings that come with it, because that's why you came here. And you likely brought with you data or memories, stuff from your ancestors and from your other lifetimes into your cellular system, into your emotional body. You brought that into this incarnation to heal it. And so those things, some of them are yours, some of them aren't yours, but they're going to come up when there are hard situations in your life. They're going to come up so that they can be healed. So when you're feeling angry, sad, frustrated, symptoms of anxiety, depression, etc., it's responsible and safe to feel those things, because when you feel them and give them the time that they deserve, then you're going to naturally move to a neutral state, meaning your mind's going to go somewhere else at some point. Then those things have come up, they've transmuted themselves, they've gone to a neutral state. Then you can start building your life. That's the gift of being on this earth. You're really not stuck. When you get stuck is when you have all these deep feelings that you constantly ignore, because then they get stuck in your emotional body and your physical body. And when you don't realize you're wallowing in them, that's when you manifest from that state, because you start to build a loop in your mind. Oh, this is my lot in life. I'm a victim. It's always going to be this way. But if you actually say, this is what I'm feeling right now, so I'm going to allow it, your angels will surround you in a beautiful bubble of love. They know what's going on, and they'll say, okay, I've got you, loved one. Feel what you need to feel. Curl up in your bed or go on your walk. However, eat the comfort food. But however you need to comfort yourself, feel the stuff, talk to your therapist, listen to the song that makes you sad, helps you cry, whatever your method is. Then it transmutes and goes to neutral. Then the next step is you begin to create your life.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had many conversations with people about the angelic realm, helping humanity. And you say that you're an angel in human form. And what they've said to me is that when we're in higher, more intelligent, more connected, evolved races, what we call ET races, they don't have angelic help because they're more connected to source and they don't need it. It's just us humans who feel so disconnected from source. We really need those angels around us to help us and, with our human life. So you said that you've had galactic intelligent lives. What have been those lives?
Well, first of all, anyone who is an angel incarnate. Now, I'm not an earth angel. I'm a full angel in a body. So that requires me to have angelic help, because if I didn't, that would be like sending me on a mission and just pushing me off the deep end. They're always checking in on me and reminding me of my mission. This is a collaborative mission, and I'm so grateful for that. And also, some of my helpers are extraterrestrials. This is something that I have worked my whole life to accept, because it's wacky and I didn't always want it. There were years that I really wanted to just fit in, and so I pushed this away or I pushed it down. But Source really had this in mind for me. And when I was 4 years old, I made the choice by popping back into my body. And so this is who I am, and I do it all the time. And I'm really grateful for my close connection with Source and my collaborators, my holy team. So I'm going to bravely argue with that point. We do all need the help. Why not accept the help?
No, I don't know. I don't think you've understood the question. The comment was that when we're in galactic forms, higher civilization forms, we don't need the angelic help because we're more connected to source. But as humans, we need the help. So the angels are more here for the human society rather than galactic societies, because they're more connected to their false intelligence. But
Yes, I'm arguing with the first part.
what was the first part?
That when we're in our angelic form, that we don't need the help. We do.
No, I didn't say angelic form, galactic form. Like when
Yes.
we're having lives as ETs, we don't need that. And
yes, we do.
Okay,
Yes,
we do.
do.
So you say that you're a full angel in human form. Many people have argued that the angelic realm does not incarnate into human form, and some people, like you, say it does.
Uh-huh.
What is the difference between the light intelligence that is a soul choosing to incarnate into a human form and the light intelligence that is an angel choosing to incarnate into human form? What is the difference?
Well, I'm not sure if I've met an angel who has, I'm sure angels can ask to incarnate in human form. I'm sure they can. That's not my story, so I can't speak to it. I know that in the angelic realm, I am seraphim. So the way we look is we're the round wheel with the eyes. And so if I wanted to, I could also, this is a little human, but I could transfer to be a cherubim. I could go to a different level and exist there and learn there. Whenever I want to go to another galaxy or planet, it's usually a mission, but I always get to say yes or no. I haven't met an angel who's asked to come to Earth, but I suppose it's possible, but I just can't speak to that because I haven't met anyone.
Mm. But as that soul energy, who we all are, as that spark of divinity choosing to incarnate into human form and taking on an ego and a mind and a body and a personality, what is the difference between a soul and an angelic soul? Like you say that you're an angel in human form. What's the difference between like my soul and your soul, say?
Well, if you were to look inside and look at my gooiness, my spirit, I'm pure angel. So I am made of an angel consciousness. So I have all of the DNA of an angel. So I don't have the DNA of a human. Right now, until I'm talking spiritual DNA. So in my memory bank, I am part God DNA, part angelic DNA. And this, I guess the easiest way to explain it would be my original origin, my star stuff, is pure messenger, pure servant of God, pure messenger. I'm meant to be a messenger of God. I'm not meant to have human form. I'm only here temporarily to share messages of God. So humans are all from somewhere else as well. I mean, every human here is a star seed, or they are from Atlantis. Every human is something incredible and special as well. I just happen to be one that's from the angelic realm. So the difference between me and someone else is that I don't have any human spirit DNA in me. I'm pure angel. So if you think about Archangel Michael, he's never been human before. I have the same stuff inside me. Now, Archangel Metatron, he would be more akin to an earth angel because he's had a human life. I resonate the same as the archangels. I'm not an archangel, but we have the same vibe. So think of the seraphim, the cherubim, the angels of virtues or dominions. That's my neighborhood. That's where I'm from. So think of me as an angel, and right now I'm wearing a human coat.
Yeah. when I've asked this question to my mob, because I've asked them many questions like this, like if we are all one energy, source energy, what differentiates us as groups on the other side? Like when we're in human form, that's an easy question. But when we're just consciousness floating around in time and space, like what differentiates, an angel to a something else, to a something else, to a something else. And my mob have said intention.
Yes.
So you group through intention. You do that on Earth too, they say. But when you're not in physical form, when you're in energetic form, you're grouping through intention. And the intention of the angelic realm is to be of service, as you've said.
Yes.
And so, even though you take on human form or galactic form, the intention is always to be of service. Whereas human soul structure is to experience more and experience. So I'm going to experience and I'm going to learn. Angel structure is you're also going to experience and learn, because you cannot not experience and learn when you take on a human body
form,
and an ego. Like even the ascended masters, I've chatted to them about having their human lives, and I said, what was the hardest thing? What was the hardest thing about being human? And they said the ego.
The ego. It is the hardest thing.
Yeah. So so you group through intention on the other side, where you do. We're grouped by intention. That really resonates with me, Moby says. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. So I just want to remind people too, to a station break. Oh, it's 11:11 here. I love that. Angel numbers. People call that angel numbers.
I love it.
11:11. You're listening to Karen Swain, Expanding and Awakening Consciousness, ATP Media. ATP stands for Accentuate the Positive, on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 107.7 and 105.3 FM syndicated radio all across America and Canada. And my guest today is Rachel Corpus, who is angelic energy in human form, here to teach, to learn also, because you've had your lessons, as I said at the beginning. You've had your human lives, you've had your near-death experiences, you've had your trauma and all the stuff that we go through as humans. But with all of that, we take on these experiences so that we can help others who are also going through those experiences, right? Like sickness. There's a brilliant teacher down here called Patria King. She calls it the 4 Ds. What is it? Death, divorce, depression. What's the other one? Disease. Disease, death, divorce, depression, disease. Take on the 4 Ds. So let's talk about when we were having the tech issues. I was yabbering on about the drones, because you can't go on, well, I know the algorithms. Once you click on one drone thing, they show you a million other drone things, but you can't click on anywhere on news, on YouTube and different platforms without there being drones. And I've asked my mob about what's going on. What are the angels telling you about what's happening in our skies at the moment, leading up to 2025?
Well, there was already a plan in place for 2025 and 2026 for intervention. And in our council meetings on the Galactic Council, we already had that set in place. And then recently something happened, and it's not a secret. It'll be disclosed soon, but there was something nuclear, something that when I go into my angel form, it has the smell of something. I'm going to call it a missile. And it was lost. It was on the dark market, and it was lost. And so in our last meeting, which was just a couple days ago, we were shown or updated that there are a lot of different governments, and also from the private sector, there are a lot of drones that are searching for it. Because if this went off, it would be devastating. You are seeing man-made drones in the sky, and you are also seeing extraterrestrial, and angelic intervention. I will say from all of us that no harm will come to humans because nothing is going to get in the way of the evolution of light and love. That is the commitment that we have to you. And this, like I said, has already been in place, but the timeline has been moved up because we can't get in the way of free will. That's a commitment that we made to you when we helped with your creation. And we have been here to help you. This is only my 7th incarnation, but I've been here. I've been on the mission trips to help you over and over. I have memories of that. But we can't get in the way of the free will. We can advise, we can give tools, we can give medicine, we can give technology. But this time, because of the massive amount of prayer and love and intention, we can intercede. That word has high frequency, intercede. It goes beyond spirituality, man-made religion. It goes beyond all earthly frequency, the word intercede. We can intercede, we can intercept, because we are working with free will, because you've asked us. So what we're doing is we're helping to find what was lost. We're helping to, I will say, melt it. And if you want to know what I mean by that, watch the skies, because when there's something nefarious in the sky, you'll see one of us hit it and disperse it. I'm going to do that with my hands. You'll see it hit it and disperse it. You're also seeing some of my seraphim family. Watch for them. They're the ones that look like the wheel of eyes. That's what I look like, you guys. That's what I look like. This that you're looking at me, this is like a tailored Rachel suit. This is not what I really look like. You'll see the seraphim. And you'll see what looks like a ball of light that's moving. People are calling them plasmoids. Those are angels. That's an angel doorway. And we can move and we can take care. I like to say swallow. We can take care of things that need to be taken care of. We can transmute. And you can think of it's like the opposite of a black hole. It's a hole of light. So that's what's happening. And there will be some big things that happen on December 24th. The Pope is opening some portals. And that's not a religious, I don't want to get religious here because I'm really not a religious person, and angels aren't religious. Angels are.
Well, you've read my mind again. Interesting enough, before we met today, I was thinking about a couple of things that I might pose to you. And that came up about, I was actually chatting to the angels, and they're saying angels have no religion.
Right.
Like angels are not a religious thing, although we've been depicted in your religious ideology,
Right.
religious art. We do not belong to a religion. It's just the human mind that has said, the angels. What does Susan say here? Thank you for your message. My higher self has let me know that I'm a volunteer here to help humanity ascend. Yeah, I think everyone listening to this, Susan, is people that are tuning into this frequency. So hearing your message is incredibly affirming. Yeah.
Yes, Susan.
Thank you. With the drones, I asked my mob about them too, and they said pretty much all of them are man-made. And I said, what about the ones that look like orbs? And they actually said to me, most of them are man-made as well. And I said, why do they look like, all like this energy moving, this energy? They said, that is actually what you're seeing with your physical eyes, what your eyes can pick up is the energy field around the craft, that it's whatever is propelling that craft, and it creates this energy field around the craft. And what you perceive with your human eyes, if you were to look at it with your spiritual eye or third eye, it would be different, is that you're perceiving the energy moving. And I said, wow, that's really fascinating. But they said that even those, the majority of them are man-made. Angelic and ET stuff is hard to even perceive with your physical eyes. Like you can perceive it with third eyes, or you can ask to see it. There have been people that have had sightings of ships standing in groups, and like 3 people can see it clearly and a dozen people see nothing.
Yes, we do
So,
that on purpose because
yeah,
not everyone is at the right frequency to see it in a
right,
way that is without fear.
exactly.
And you can also see them during the day. So if you see a cloud formation that looks like it's in the shape of a trapezoid,
Yeah,
stare at it for a moment and then close your eyes and see if you see the same shape in little gold balls, almost like the end of
yeah,
a sparkler. And you're seeing the frequency of a ship or a group of angels. But what you're seeing in the sky is probably about 2% angelic or extraterrestrial activity. The rest is man made.
is man-made. Yeah. And it's amazing that we as a human race have this technology. Like,
Yes.
it's incredible. Hello, United Public Radio Network. Hello. Hello, Foxy Joe. I love that name. Foxy
You
Joe,
should.
that's great. Okay, so that's really interesting what the angels have said about they're looking for some sort of missile that has gone lost. That's really interesting. I hadn't heard that information before.
Mhm.
And when they find it, they're going to dissolve it. What else is happening with the drones? Because that's probably not the only thing that's happening, like why they're up there, because they're not in just one area. They're all over the world. They've been seen down under in Australia
Mhm.
and New Zealand and in Europe and in
Yes.
Canada and in, so it's not like,
Uh-huh. Right.
yeah,
So we are basically it's taking census of the population, and that's probably about all I can say.
okay, taking census of the population.
Hmm.
So you think we're being spied on? We're being watched?
Well, that wouldn't be a new thing.
That wouldn't be a new thing. I live in a beach called Coogee here in Australia, and you go down to the main drag and there are cameras everywhere. I mean, some of the cameras are great because some of the cameras are called, they're literally beach cameras. So if I want to see what's happening on the surf, whether it's, a high surf or low surf, I can tune in on the council website and then the cameras are pointing at the beach. But all the streets around the beach, like you look up, they put in new technology a couple of years ago. They took out the wires and put them all underground. But when they did that, they put up cameras everywhere. Like, we are being surveyed, like we are being watched. Wherever I go, I'm being watched. It's amazing how many cameras are around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're being watched by cameras, but we're also being watched by spirit, right? We're being watched all the time,
Always.
always.
Always. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So, Rachel, we're getting back to your story, when did you really start your mission to like deliver the angel messages? What happened to you to stop having the human lessons and to start really being on this mission to be a messenger?
Oh, I still have human lessons.
Don't we all?
Let's be clear on that. Oh, yes. I mean, as long as I'm in a human body, I'll still have human lessons.
Yeah.
Fortunately and unfortunately, that will still occur. Um, I've I've always, since I've always been an angel in a human body, I've always had lessons to share, and my messages to share. The way I share them is mostly by just showing up, and then sometimes it's been by being a teacher. And so in my angel contract, or my angel mission statement, my messages are to help people know that they are not separate from source. And there are some bullet points under that it's also to help people realize that God is not the man-made God, that there's nothing wrong with religion, but there's a more expansive view of God that people can find. And I don't necessarily teach people about that, but I hold space, or I hold people as they do that, as they discover it for themselves. So another lesson or message in my mission statement is that I help people remember that all choices should be grounded in love. So if we're making a choice and it doesn't feel loving, stop. And really, it's those two messages that I've shared my whole life, either through me messing up and people seeing that and me being authentic about it is the way I teach it, or sometimes sharing a story. I've been a teacher, I've been to seminary, I've worked in churches, I've done so much, but it's
Yeah.
really just through me being a person.
Yeah, you were a school teacher for a while, weren't you?
School teacher, then I
Did you?
thought that I would work in churches. That wasn't a fit for a psychic
Yeah,
angel.
yeah, that doesn't fit.
But I
The
thought,
school system doesn't really fit the psychic either, really. I mean, did you ever reveal any of your psychic abilities while you were a school teacher? Because we've got a few school teachers online here. I know Diane says here, Diane, I think you're still working as a school teacher, aren't you? My school was required to install cameras to lower insurance costs, she says.
mm,
Yeah. Did you ever reveal your psychic abilities when you were working as a school teacher?
uh, not not really. That was the time in my life. See, I taught in the town where I grew up, so I'm going to say yes and no. That was probably. Hmm,
It was a while
I'm going to
ago.
say this. There was a time in my life where I started to say, "Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm an angel. I'm a
Yeah.
psychic medium." And after I started to say that, I mean, I didn't hold anything back. But that was about 15 years ago. But prior to that,
It was hidden.
yeah, I hid it, or I read the room because it was a small town where I was teaching, a small town where I grew up in. But once I moved to the city, I just didn't hold it back anymore. But when I was teaching, like I said, it was a small room, a small town, and I was always reading the room, and it was a religious town as well. And my parents lived there, and I was always really conscious of what life would be like for them. So, no, I really did. I guess I really did hide it. But the good thing was I was the music teacher. So,
Okay.
music and drama and dance. So, I did feel that I could be very expressive. I didn't push beliefs on anyone, but personally, I could be very expressive in my life and artistic. And I felt very met in that, and very
Yeah.
good in that. So, versus something else where maybe I'd have to hold it all in.
It's so interesting that you said I didn't push beliefs on anybody.
Mm.
But isn't that what school is? Them pushing beliefs on these sponge-like minds that are soaking in all this stuff. And a lot
And
of what
that's
we're
why I
taught
left.
and a lot of what we're taught are not exactly expanded beliefs. You know, they limit us in many ways. What is Moby saying here? Speaking of schools, I heard more hybrid and starseed children are being born. Is that true for
Yes,
angels as
Moby.
well?
Yes, Moby. And this relates, Karin, to something you alluded to earlier about what's going to be happening this year. We're going to see, that's good to hear. We're going to see a lot of treasured systems begin to
Change.
crack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And school will
Yeah.
be one of them because of all of our starseed children, our indigo children, our angelic children. They are coming of age and they're starting to speak loudly and
Mm.
say, this isn't for me. And also, there are people coming of age that are their teachers and their parents, and they're starting to say, we don't like this either.
Mhm.
And there are people who are getting ready to retire from those positions. And I want to say this with all the love in my heart, they're getting out of the way. So these structures will be there in structure, but within that structure, it's like cooked spaghetti. So it can be anything that it should be. We're reconstructing that. And I see Archangel Azrael working on that with Archangel Gabriel. So Gabriel with the language and the the concepts, and then Archangel Azrael with the breaking down of the old structure and the rebuilding it. They're so busy with that. But yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just the old system. I really don't know if it ever worked. Just going back to one of my initial lifetimes when I was teaching then, I don't think I was very happy as a teacher then either. It was quite a struggle.
Yeah, I have a lot of retired teachers who are attracted to me. And Shirley says here, so happy to be here with all of you. I was able to talk about angels in my classrooms in the 90s. It was peripheral, and by 2016, we were full on sharing. It was fabulous. There you go. That's in Canada. She's up in Canada when I say
I
up.
love that.
Yeah, so yeah, this is one of my great desires, to see psychic understanding, psychic abilities
Well,
taught in every school, like in every school, like even explaining what your emotional guidance system is all about. You know, when you have an emotion, like you said, you alluded to earlier, or you spoke about earlier, when you said when you have negative emotions, they're communicating with you. They're not there to torture you. I don't think you used those words, but basically that was the message, that like listen to how you feel because it's communicating to you about your frequency. I mean, that is, when I learned about that as an adult, I just thought that was the most important piece of information that had been left out of all my life studies, whether it was school or any other study, is to navigate the emotions. Like, what is my emotion showing me? Like, what is
right,
it pointing to? What is it alluding to?
right.
And I just think that's so important. Why isn't that taught in schools? Yeah, just anyway, as you say, I have a cousin, I mean a nephew, who, how old is he? He's in his early 20s now, who just didn't do 3D school, but his parents weren't very conscious, and so they struggled to try and fit this round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole, however that saying goes. And he never, ever fitted because he was so creative and psychic. So he's expanded his creative abilities. He's an artist. But as far as the psychic thing goes, he thinks it's all rubbish. Like he says to me, I'm not psychic, I'm not, because he's not had that education. But
Yeah.
he is such a psychic starseed being. And I
Yeah.
also tell him he's a starseed. He's going, I'm not an alien. He's so funny. You know, I'm wondering if and when he ever has children, maybe it's his generation that will get it, because he went through so much struggle in 3D school. He just could not do it. Then, yeah, there are so many people like that.
Yes.
Yeah. What do the angels want to pipe in and say about schools coming up in the future, or maybe even just next year? Systems are changing.
Well, we went through a beautiful training process with COVID because we learned how to do school differently, and it won't look like that again, but at least it shook us enough to be ready for a different structure. And we did not go back to the way it was, and we've constantly been evolving as a society all across the world. And it's the I hear the realm saying this is what perceived struggle is all about. It's about adapting, and we'll continue to see adapting in schools and churches and monetary systems, governments. The challenge will be to see it realistically and not negatively, but to realistically to see it as it's pulling apart and unraveling, but to see it as they're saying, see it as a sweater you love, a well-made sweater that you love that's coming apart, but you want to keep the yarn, and then you work together to weave it into something else. But you don't throw the yarn out, you just weave it into something else. It's a new project. That's what they say. So it's a little cryptic, but we're also not supposed to know all the details, because then if they spoon feed it to us, what good is that? Also doesn't
Absolutely.
feel like it's going to happen really quick either. So when we talk about governments across the world uh, breaking and rebuilding, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a couple months of rationing and civil disobedience. It doesn't look like that. It looks like it's slower, and there's mediation, people working together, because we are in the 1,000 years of peace, and we're at the very beginning of that 1,000 years of peace. But humans don't know what to do with that, because every time the humans work on peace, there's someone in an authority that says, well, we didn't tell you to do that. What are you doing? Get back to work. But we're going from this top-down structure, this authoritative structure, to the Knights of the Round Table again, where everybody has a place at the table. And we're all remembering how to do that, which is really lovely.
Yeah, the topic of peace is such a big one. I put on a massive Peace Day festival 10 years ago, and trying to get any sort of mainstream media or structure involved in it was almost impossible. Everyone talks about peace, like we've been talking about it for decades, right? And they sing songs about it at Christmas time. Feed the world, let's have peace on earth.
Yes.
You know, what do you call it? Beauty pageants. What do you want to see? I want to see peace on earth. Like, we're all talking about it, and no one's doing anything about it. No one's doing anything about it. So, yeah, peace is an interesting topic. Is there anything, Gladys says, that the angels feel we need to hear the most in regard to what's coming next? I think we just talked about that, didn't we? Coming next year. Yeah, they're answering the question. Yeah, speaking of peace, they say, you know, the peace that we're looking for is not in the world. It's not in the stopping the bombs. It's in the peace in your own heart and mind, because, yeah, plenty of change next year. So finding that peace within is probably going to be the most important thing we can do, right?
Well,
what are they saying to you, Rachel?
We're looking at 2024 as the last normal year, but that's not a bad thing. We'll look back and we'll say, yeah, we'll look back and say, remember, didn't that seem easy?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
2025 will be strange. It'll be strange, but we'll be thankful for it, because if we can let go of systems that we were really attached to, but why are we attached to them? They're not working anymore, and we'll have to remind each other of that.
Yeah.
Humans get really attached to things, and things that aren't working can feel sacred to us, but they don't need to be.
Yeah, exactly. I think probably there'll be a lot of change within the money system next year.
Yes.
So there'll be a lot of people that will lose money. And people are very attached to the money thing, because they feel like money equals security, equals peace of mind. But actually, it doesn't really. It doesn't. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. And we're going to see people with a lot of money losing their money, but not going to the poverty level. We're going to see them reevaluating what's precious to them. And what's happening is this earth world is going to start to look like the heavenly realm, where everyone's equal.
Wow.
We're going to that model, because I'm telling you, as a seraphim, what's really cool about being an angel is, if you look at the map of the angelic realm, seraphim are up here, cherubims down here, but that's not a hierarchy. It's just how it's mapped out. That's like when you go to the doctor and you're looking at the elevator map, so you know which floor to go to. That's kind of how the angelic realm looks, but it's not better or worse. It's not a merit hierarchy. It's just the neighborhood. Every being is equal on the other side. And I see the archangels especially taking that construct and overlaying it onto the earth realm, and that frequency of that construct, that it's love, it's vibing as love, is starting to sink into the veil. And people are getting it. They're getting it in their dreams and their meditations, long hugs. It's coming into the domesticated animals that people have in their houses. So just when you cuddle with your animals, it's vibing to us that way. People who experience horse therapy, we're getting the message that everyone is equal, construct is floating into or integrating into this realm quite effectively. So we are going to start to feel that more in 2025. It's being introduced. So those who feel like they have not been seen or heard will feel more seen and heard in 2025. And those who have been managing in the upper 5 to 1%, they're going to start to come down closer to the middle. And their challenge will be to do that with grace.
Yeah. The great equalizer. That's what disaster does, doesn't it? I mean, when floods and fires hit, it doesn't matter, which house you live in or how much money you've got in your bank account.
Yeah.
Everyone is on that equal level of like helping each other and surviving and like that great equalizer. But do we need disaster to bring more unity
I don't think it's going to
into
be
the world?
disaster.
Yeah.
That's not what they show me. I mean, our world will always have disasters because, hello, Earth dimension, we have climates. Oh, and that's another reason why the angelic realm is so present in the extraterrestrials, because they're helping redirect climate change. Side note, that's why. But also from what you're saying, no, we don't always have to learn from trauma. That's mismarketing in spiritual development. Does trauma help us grow? Yes, but we don't always need to grow from trauma. If we are all on board, well, even individually, if we decide individually that we wish to grow or enlighten or expand, and we want to do that purposefully, well, choose to grow without trauma. But if you are not intentional about growing, you're still going to grow, but there are going to be major events in your life that are going to force you into growing, and that's usually going to be traumatic.
Yeah, or challenging. Yeah, a challenge.
Challenging, yeah.
So we've got about 15 minutes left. What do the angels or the angelic realm or your galactic peeps, your galactic mob, I call them, what do they say about, what's coming with connecting with our galactic neighbors, the people that live in the universe, the cosmos, about being more connected to their intelligence, their technology, their ways of their wisdom? What do they want to say about that? Ignore the random, but animals. Can animals be angelic as well? Moby asked the question here. Can animals? You say yes?
Oh, yes. Not random at all. So I'm going to call in Sarai, and Sarai is my dear collective of extraterrestrial helpers that have been talking to me since I was a child. And I'm going to ask them the question about upcoming collaborations with other galaxies, other extraterrestrial realms. And what they're saying is, think of it as the next phase, because they meaning different sectors or different types of extraterrestrials, have always been on Earth in different forms. So some of them have been, Sarai saying, think of the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. Some of them are just not seen on purpose, and some of them are in human costume. Some of them are also in animal form. Think cats. Some of them don't know that they are extraterrestrial because they have had so many incarnations and they are half breed. And so they are waking up to who they are. I'm asking Sarai if they are star seeds. Star seeds are waking up to who they are. But the next phase will be more known occurrences. And so, Sarai, what will that look like? It will be They're showing me what it looked like when I was a child, where I would be playing at dusk and there would be, well, the portals that are in the sky right now. Think of one of those, but at ground level and it's more oval, and then some beings would walk through. We'll see more things like that happening and we'll get used to it. It'll be more present because what they notice about our culture right now is our response is, "Whoa, that was weird. Oh, what's for dinner?" we're we're not we don't get shaken by much, and we'll know soon that they don't ever mean us any harm. And if something were to happen where one time they I got a little too close to the border of one of the zhoosh, it goes like this, zhoosh, and you get too close, and I went, ow, and they just kissed my hand and it was better. They can heal us so fast, no problem. No problem, they went, no problem. And we will realize here in this realm that they are only here to help us. We'll also get used to their temperament because depending on where they're from, they're either super loving and funny, or they are kind of held back and reserved. And like when I'm listening to something, my angels will make fun of me because I have like the resting witch face, my thinking face. Some extraterrestrials will do that too. And so they seem unfriendly, but they're so friendly. They just don't know. They're just not very animated. We'll get used to all of that. So they'll be amongst us quite easily. The governments already know this, or they know most of it. And so we've been experiencing slow disclosure through music and movies and literature. The only thing that Sarai doesn't like about this is that some of the movies have been scary, and it won't be scary. There won't be any aliens coming out of stomachs or anything like that. Um, they think those are harmful. Funny, yes, but harmful. Again, we'll say mismarketing. And this year will be a big one for them to be here because they'll be needed. They'll be needed. There are some things happening with some wars, not in the United States, but some proxy wars. Yeah, their
Yeah,
help will be needed.
the whole psyop about aliens, when we thought about aliens in the past, you immediately went into the thought of threat. And, it was like brainwashing, absolute brainwashing through many movies, and still movies coming out today. There are better movies coming out, I have to say, in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
But, starseeds. What are the difference between the starseeds and the angelics in human form? Is there a difference, or is it back to that intention?
Think about where they're created. So they're created from different areas. So angelic earth angels, one parent was angelic, one parent was human. And full angel in a body. I'm from the angelic realm, was born through two parents. That's the vehicle I got here. So my neighborhood is angels, star seeds. And way in the beginning, one parent was human, one parent was from a planet. So that's their neighborhood. There are some beings that walk the earth that are full extraterrestrial, and they've shape-shifted into a human.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of different types. I've spoken to so many people. I've been speaking to people for almost 30 years, New World teachers, and I've heard so many different stories. And with every story that I hear from anyone I speak to, whether it's on the show or in an event or just in a conversation, I always ask my mob, is that true? Tell me more about that. How does that work?
Yes.
And what they say resoundingly is, you humans are so either or. You say it's this way or it's that way.
Always
Why
with
not
your labels.
Yeah, why not? Everything is possible. And one story,
Everything is possible.
everything is possible. It's all energy that you're molding through thought and consciousness. And one of the stories I heard from Garnet Schulhauser was of this university lecturer, teacher, who was a woman, female, that taught physics in university. And she was an alien in human form, but she wasn't a soul that incarnated into a body. She was actually an alien that was here on Earth as an alien or an ET or a galactic, being that had a technology, a holographic technology that she could switch on, which would make our human mind perceive her as completely human.
Mm-hmm.
But when she switched off the technology, she looked like this tall blue being, this ET. And I heard that years ago, and I'm like, wow, that's so fascinating, right? That's
Yes.
so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have
When
you
I
heard
was-
any? Yep, go on.
When I was little, I could do that. So there were times that I would look in the medicine cabinet when I was little, and I could go to pure gold form, or I could walk through the wall. I can't do it now.
Why?
Well, I don't really know. My body feels heavy. It's a little different to get into my pure angel form, but I could until I was about 7.
Do you think it is the beliefs and form of consciousness that you've taken on through the human
Probably.
journey, the density
Probably.
of belief and, like the traumas and the challenges you go through and the beliefs that we start to garner?
Probably. Because when I meditate or when I'm sleeping or astral traveling, I can sense the feeling of wings. Not that I have wings in my angel form, but the feeling of movement
Flight.
and flight,
Uh-huh.
and my crown opening up and being able to move through solid objects and all of the gifts that angels have quite easily. But when I'm awake, it's quite harder. I mean, I can still see into the future. I can still see into people's bodies with permission, of course. I can still do a lot of angel things, but when it comes to being awake and I can't get off the ground very much, I can't move through solid objects. There's things that I can't do anymore, but I could when I was little.
So Shirley has a great question. I think we're answering this question. Does shape-shifting happen by frequency? I think
Yes.
we're talking about that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I can make my hair grow. I mean,
Can
if
you?
you look at videos that were just from about a month ago, I had really short hair. Really short. I mean, it's not long now, but I mean, it was really short. So I can do that.
Yeah. I was actually watching because I have a habit of the first thing I do. It's probably not the best habit, but my daughter sends me a million Instagram memes every night. She's up late at night on Instagram sending me funny cat memes, and usually I wake up in the morning, get straight on Instagram, and look at all the memes my daughter's sending me. But then I get stuck on Instagram, for however long. But I was watching these people harnessing the wind and using their energy to create sort of tornadoes with leaves. And there was one woman who opened this big wooden gate with her hands, and I don't know if it was fake or AI, but it's all possible, right? It's all possible.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes. The angels. Okay, we've got 7 minutes to go. Is there anything that the angels would like, any angel blessings that they'd like to give us for this festive season and coming into 2025? I think Diane said, how do we navigate this new year, when you said it's going to be like 2024 will seem like the last normal year. I thought that was fantastic. My mob have said there'll be a lot of changes that will happen next year, but they didn't say that. Because I don't know, 2020, could we say that was a normal year? That was a pretty extraordinary year. Even 2021 was extraordinary, but I guess that compared to those years, 2024 has seemed like a more normal year. But when we look back in history, it'll seem like the last normal year.
I would say 2024 probably felt like the year time collapsed.
Time collapsed.
Yeah, it was the time collapse year. When I ask the angels that beautiful question, their request is that each person who hears this message finds a way to sit in peace with their spirit in a way that matches them. And they realize that asking people to meditate can feel like a big ask for some people. And so they really mean it when they say, find a way that matches you. Sit in a comfortable chair or rest your head on your pillow, go on a walk. But this is an invitation to a meeting with your guides, with your angels, the loving extraterrestrials, and get used to the quiet in your mind, because this is the way they integrate with you. You'll know if it's your ego because your ego will begin to argue. Allow them to be comfortable in your essence, in your aura. And if at all possible, do allow your body to be still for this. And if you could do this every day with them for 5 to 20 minutes, they would really love that, because you are creating everything around you, whether you know it or not. Everything you see around you is a reflection of what you chose to experience when you came here. Everything we're talking about is something that you scripted with your angels before you were born. So they're asking you to sit down with them and check in. Ask them for more, ask them for a slower pace, ask them for clarity. Just get to know them a little bit better. And instead of saying, angels, can I see you or hear you? Just simply say, may I experience you?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. May I experience you?
Yes. Yes. And then, if it's okay, I would really love to invite people to my podcast. It's called Angel Talk, and it's available on all platforms. And this is the way that you can follow me on my journey as I'm still getting used to being an angel incarnate. And it's called Angel Talk, as I said. And if you want to learn more about me, you can simply go to my website. It's rachelcorpus.com. My last name is spelled like Corpus Christi. It is my last name. Didn't make it up. Corpus. And I love that question. The best way to start meditating? Let me ask them.
Foxy Joe says, best way to start meditating would be question mark, question mark, question mark. Just
I would
start.
say, Foxy
We've,
Joe, you're
we've
busy.
actually run out of time.
Okay.
So we got it in the live. Yeah, the best way to start meditating is just
do it.
Start. Yeah.
Do it.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you to all the angels and the galactic mob and the spirit and everyone that's been here. And even thank you for messing up the audio at the beginning of this. It's just confirmation that you're here messing with us. So I want to thank you all. And thanks to everyone that's been online asking your questions. Thanks, Leslie and Vladdy and even Foxy Joe. I love that name, Foxy Joe. Are you a male or a female? Yeah. And thank you, Rachel. And yeah, you have your message at the beginning of the year. You're doing a Facebook Live. So find Rachel on Facebook Live. She does an angelic message at the beginning of the year. I think you're doing it on the 1st of January.
Yes.
I'll be tuning in for that. And it's been so beautiful to be with you and your angels. I have to say, the whole time, the whole show, the top of my head has been tingling. My crown chakra has been tingling. And
your own halo.
Yeah, just feeling that energy in the crown chakra. Great group here. Much love, Shirley says. Yeah. So we've had a fantastic group online asking lots of great questions. Lots of angel love. Lots of angel love to you too. And lots of angel love to everybody watching and listening to this this year or even next year if you're listening to this on the recording. And to remember that we are never alone. The angels are always with us. Thank you again. Thanks so much, Rachel. And see you again next year, maybe.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.